And we are recording. Hello there, boys and girls, cats and dogs. We are an inclusive channel here. And look who I have with me. This is Mike DeDominic. I think we met a number of years ago in one of the Facebook men's knit and crochet groups. And there are so many of them now. I can't
They
keep
are.
track of them. And then he's also on Instagram and he has his own website. He does some really, really beautiful work. I will put a bunch of links in the description. So, thank you for joining us.
It's a pleasure to be here with you today.
So, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I grew up on the East Coast, and I've lived a lot of different places. And I retired a couple years ago. I've been working in doing IT work for a Midwestern company, and uh, just wrapped that up after 30 plus years. I just didn't want to do it anymore. I kind of got burned out. And actually, crochet actually saved me that last couple of years because it was a way to decompress and relax. And I'm really glad I stumbled on that. And I was in Seattle, and a couple years ago, I just said I can't do this rain and cold anymore, and moved to Palm Springs. So right now, I'm in Palm Springs and enjoying the sun and just crocheting away. I have a lot of free time on my hands. That's me in a nutshell.
That's great. That's great. I was looking at your website earlier, and it seems like you do a lot of stuff on commission.
No, people think that, but I actually have only done one commission, like a paid commission, for a an acquaintance in New Jersey. And I've had a few people express interest, but then when I said, okay, it's going to be X amount of dollars or whatever, then all of a sudden they were like, oh no, maybe not. But I still love to make things as gifts, give them away. I did a couple wedding gifts, Afghans that I crocheted and gave to friends as wedding gifts, and they really enjoyed that. So I'm really more about just uh, gifting people, and I love doing it. I love doing it, and people they usually really like it. So that's usually my mo. Not opposed to commissions, but it's my mo is more about just doing something for somebody, maybe somebody who struggling or whatever, and they appreciate receiving a handmade gift. So
I would agree with you. My experience with trying to sell my work has really been pretty negative, so I'm just
oh
not
really.
going to try anymore. So,
Hmm.
I mean, I do patterns and sometimes sell some of those. Do you do your own designs
No,
and
I
patterns?
I've thought about that, but um I guess it's a comfort thing. I don't feel confident enough to do that. Um, but I am trying to challenge myself and step out of my comfort zone. And in the last year, I've tried a few things that I thought, well, I won't be able to do that. And I said, well, you can't sit here and do granny squares every day the rest of your life. You need to branch out a little bit. I mean, I could, but I'm trying to push myself to maybe try something that you think is maybe too difficult or whatever, and then just give it a stab. And it turns out if you have some faith in yourself, you can do it.
That's been my experience too, just stretching. And sometimes it takes repeated attempts to try to make a particular stretch work. I mean, for me, it's been Tunisian crochet most
Mm.
recently, because for years I would always say I hated it because I couldn't do it well. But
Yeah,
right now I'm working on my second Tunisian design.
excellent.
That's going to be on Ravelry soon, I
Oh,
hope.
excellent. Good for you.
Yeah.
I really like Tunisian, but I've only done a few little like some washcloths and stuff, and I dabbled in it a little bit, but I enjoyed it. It was fun.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And also, I would also say the same with uh, designing and pattern writing. It might be a year, maybe a little over a year ago, I was saying the same thing that you are about, you know, it feels scary to take that step.
Yeah.
But
You know, and I struggle with learning disabilities too. Um, it takes me longer to pick some things up than maybe others do, and I'm very ADD, and that's a struggle for me. It's a struggle to focus on the pattern, and it's been a challenge. It was a challenge in my career. It was a challenge in school, and it's a challenge with crochet, and that's one of the reasons why I just kind of like, yeah, no, I don't know that I, going to get into design, because I just struggle to focus. And, so maybe I'll get there, but right now I'm not there.
well, I think you're very creative, and I think that when you're ready, that you'll do well.
Well, thank you. Yeah.
So yeah, back to the pictures on your website and your Instagram. Some really beautiful work, and you love color as much as I do too.
I do. I do. It's it's like, um, just mentally looking at beautiful colors, it cheers you up. It's
Mm-hmm.
a great antidepressant, and especially I really enjoy like seeing people do work with pastels, the warm pastel colors. It just sort of like, it just triggers the happy chemicals in the brain, just looking at it. And
Cool.
that's, some people, like, I don't think people understand that, but for me anyway, when I see a beautiful crocheted item done with bright colors or pastels, I'm kind of like, it makes me happy.
Let me just show you something colorful.
Okay. You're going to make me happy? Now you made me happy. Beautiful.
This is my current Tunisian project.
Ah.
This is a sample of it in a fingering weight with a very small hook.
Mm-hmm.
It was making me crazy, so then I turned around and started another one using a worsted weight with a larger
Mm-hmm.
hook, and that's going along a lot better. But it's a white yarn with sparkles in it.
Love it.
Yeah,
Yeah. Love that.
yeah.
Any kind of color, any kind of bright colors or just stuff like that. It makes me happy. Makes
Mm-hmm.
me happy to see it. It makes me happy to work with it. I much prefer to do that. So if somebody says, I want an Afghan and I want like earth tones, I'm like, eek. I'm like, okay, I'll do it, but not my preference.
It depends upon which earth tones. I mean,
Yeah.
they can be really nice.
I did one. I have it right here. It's not really, I don't know. It's my Kisses and Hugs
I
Afghan.
like that.
And I bought all this yarn, and it had been sitting in boxes for years. And I finally said, I need to liquidate this yarn. I've got to get this out of here. So I picked this pattern, and I decided to make this. And it's not my thing, but now that I'm done, I love it. So, and it goes with my sofa. So,
Oh, even better.
and my cat loves sleeping on it. So it's a win-win-win.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
My current bedroom project is it's a scrap blanket, and leftovers of this, that, and the other. But it's all the same weight, and it's really, really colorful, and it's going to be on my bed. And,
Love that.
Yeah.
I love taking scrap yarn and turning it into something beautiful. I mean, that's it. It's a really good feeling knowing that you've taken something that you might have just said, "Oh, I'm going to ditch this," and then just gathering up all the stuff you have, and then then getting creative and come up with something that's really fun and beautiful.
Yeah, the part of it that I'm working right now is using a self-striping cake in a weight that I normally wouldn't use, because I'm normally worsted or lighter weight.
Oh, really?
And you did say you like heavier yarns.
Oh, yeah. I struggle to use the lighter weights. I'm not used to it. I'm used to chunky or extra bulky. Like part of the reason is because my eyes aren't so good. My vision isn't great, and it's much easier, obviously, in especially a low light situation, to work with a bigger yarn. So that's one of the reasons why I gravitate to that.
Yeah.
But I also started making these little guys, these little numbers. They're
Oh, that's
zippered,
mosaic.
yeah, mosaic zippered pouches. So this is a
Oh.
very, very fine, weight yarn.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had to get over myself because I was like, oh my God, this tiny little hook and this tiny little yarn, eek, eek, eek. And now that I'm doing it, I'm kind of like, oh, okay, this isn't so bad. But um, uh, it's just getting used to it.
It
Um,
is. It is. I mean, that's another thing that I've learned over the past year also is working with the lighter weight yarns.
yeah. And
Because
it's like bust out of your comfort zone, try something different. And a lot of times you surprise yourself, it's like,
mm-hmm.
okay, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, you tell yourself
Exactly.
I won't like that, or and then if you dive in, a lot of times you surprise yourself. So
There you go.
yeah,
There you
yeah.
go. Do you have a favorite yarn?
Um, for acrylic, I love paint box yarns.
Mm-hmm.
Paint box and knit picks is also very good. So those are my two go-tos for acrylic. And when I was knitting more, I loved Debbie Bliss yarn, although it's very pricey. And I actually, when I moved, I had to downsize, and I took all that yarn and I shipped it to a friend of mine who knits. And I said, "Here you go." I said, I'm kind of back. I'm kind of on crochet full time now. So here you go. He was thrilled to get it, but yeah, I kind of stocked up on it and then realized like my knitting is just meh and probably will always be meh. So yeah, but good yarn, good, very good quality. And my friend makes beautiful socks and stuff. And I said, here you go, enjoy. Yeah,
Excellent. Excellent.
yeah.
At least it found a good home.
Yeah, my friend taught me how to knit years ago, and I really gave it the college try. I mean, I wanted so bad to do it, and I can make simple little items, but it never really clicked. And he's making these gorgeous sweaters and these beautiful clothing, and here I am, like, look, I made a washcloth, and like, so I'm just like, yeah, I accept my limitation. You do all the knitting, I'll take over the crochet, and it's all good. So.
Well, then, do you make garments with crochet then?
No, although I get asked about that a lot. And my husband's like, I want you to knit me, I want you to crochet me a sweater. And I said, well, I'm kind of doing linear stuff right now, but one day, I'm not going to say I'm never going to do it, but I'm intimidated. I'm intimidated by, having the thought of having to join all the pieces together. It seems scary to me. I don't know.
That's another thing that takes practice.
Yeah. And I'm not a good sewer. I have a block for sewing, and
I use
it's
my
one.
hook. I slip stitch it all
Do
together.
you?
Yeah.
Okay, well, there you go. That's one thing I really wish my mom had taught me was how to sew because she was pretty good. But I can't sew a button on, I have to watch a YouTube video to sew a button. I mean, it's that bad. So the thought of, sewing a sleeve onto a sweater or something, I'm kind of like, oh, I don't know how you people do it. My
I
hat's off to you, if you
yeah.
can do that.
Even with buttons, I will like oh, I wish I had it beside me. It's on the other side of the room, so I'm not going to get it. But I just did one recently. Finished a sweater, but I had buttons that were solid in the front with the kind of loop in the back where you pull
Mhm.
the thread through.
Yep.
I used my crochet hook to pull the thread through there, and then I just tied knots.
Beautiful. But still, I mean, I'm impressed. That impresses me. I mean, to see people creating, garments and stuff with knit and crochet. That is the biggest hill that I have yet to climb over. I get asked about it a lot. And can you make me this or can you make me that? And I'm kind of like, oh, I'll make you a scarf and I'll make you an Afghan, or a washcloth. Don't ask me to make you a sweater. It's just not happening right now.
Well, whenever you
I'll
want
get
to
there
take a
sometime.
stab at it, I'll give you one of my patterns.
There you go. I think I would need some one-on-one tutorials with someone to, to learn how to get, attach everything together. I'd have
Yeah,
to
you provide the plane ticket, and I'm there.
there you go. Perfect. Yeah. because I'd love to be able to do it. I really would. It's just I keep finding it reasons why today I can't do that. Today I can't work on that because I'm doing this, but I'm just avoiding it.
Well, how many whips do you usually have going at one time?
Right now I have 2. I am working on this mosaic square.
That's mosaic?
Yeah.
Wow.
So this is a pretty big. This is from Tina in Reykjavik.
Oh, I love her.
Love her to bits. She's fantastic. Her patterns are great. Her tutorials are magnificent. So I am working on this, and I started another one of those zippered pouches. And so you have to. This is scary for me, but you have to sew. You have to embroider the first row onto the zipper, and then you crochet into the embroidered stitches.
I
So
wondered how that worked.
yeah, she has a great tutorial that shows you how to do all this. So I had to put my fear of sewing down. And once you do it, a couple of these, then it's not too bad. But you have to, sew all these on and then go from there. And so right now I have these 2 are my whips, no chains.
Not today, anyway.
Not today. All whips, no chains. Yeah, and I think that's it. Yeah, I have an entire large chest of drawers stuffed full of yarn that I need to downside. Like I need to liquidate it. And this square that I'm working on is a huge yarn hog. So I think by the time I get done finishing this, I'm gonna be in good shape. So
I have some packages full of yarn that I'm going to send out to people. Actually, I'm going to print up the labels as soon as we're done here and take them out to the PO. But even then, I have so much, and I used to be all about the budget yarns, but my tastes have become more expensive.
Yeah,
my budget is not any better. But my tastes are.
Yeah. What's your favorite acrylic?
Lion Brand Mandala.
Oh yeah, Lion Brand. That's good.
I did this in a Lion Brand Mandala. This is let me see if I can get it right. A diagonal shawl.
Oh, beautiful.
And see, this is earth tones, but it's still cheery.
It is. It is.
And the stitches were fun. One of my friends sent me this great stitch reference book, and whenever I am just looking for new ideas, I'll leaf through that book and I'll find something and I'll go, ooh, I could do something with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I see people doing these beautiful diagonal, Stephen West shawls or whatever, and I'm kind of like, oh, I'd really love to be able to do that, but the whole knitting thing, I'm okay going forward, but the minute I make a mistake and I have to go back and fix it, I go into panic mode, and I'm trying to back it all out, and it's so much easier in crochet, and
it is.
I'm not stressed out at all when I make a mistake. It annoys me that if I have to frog a couple rows, but with knitting, and if I have to fix something, it's just I actually tense up so much when I knit that my arms ache because I'm so worried that I'm going to make a mistake that my whole upper body is tensed up because
then that affects your stitch tension, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it's not and then I keep saying to myself, I'm supposed to be relaxed and enjoying this. I'm not enjoying this. I'm terrified every stitch that I'm going to make a mistake. So why am I doing this? This is this is not good. So yeah. I'll make a washcloth or whatever, but I think my knitting career is that's about as far as it's going to go because I just trying to fix anything is just yeah.
Wow. Now, I am amazed at some of the things that some of the men we know can do with knitting. This year, I went to 2 men's fiber retreats. First time I'd ever been to any kind of fiber retreat.
Oh, really?
And I would see these big guys with big hands working with these teeny tiny needles and this lightweight yarn and making the most exquisite
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
And there was one guy, he was working on one of those fancy shawls. It might have been a Stephen West. Everybody loves his stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And so I said, well, how long do you think that's going to take you? And he said, oh, 8 months. I can't do that. I lose patience if a project of mine takes more than 1 week.
Right. Right.
Maybe I have ADD too.
Yeah, that's one of the nice things about working with like granny squares or just motifs is, you get that gratification. You've accomplished something, and you can just uh, move on into another one, and little bursts, and as opposed to feeling overwhelmed by just working on some big Afghan that you're lugging around everywhere. And
Actually, there are sweater patterns out there that are made of granny squares.
yeah, I've seen some of
including
those.
one of mine.
And actually, a friend of mine walked in the other day and he had a beautiful poncho on. And I said, I'd love to crochet a poncho. And so I don't know, maybe if I do venture into clothing, that might be where I start, because it seems to me like that would be a little easier than something like a sweater, because there's no arms.
A poncho could be really easy. You do 2 columns that are too wide of granny squares, of whatever kind of square you want to do.
Mhm.
If you want to do all kinds of different textures, you could do that, or colors, and then you sew them part of the way up on in the front and the back, and then you've got your instant neck hole. There's your poncho.
Maybe I'll give it a whirl. I don't know. Maybe I've got so much of this paint box yarn right now upstairs that I need to get rid of. So I don't know. Maybe I'll do it. Maybe I'll just give it a
Oh,
whirl. Let's
cool.
see if I can find a pattern somewhere.
I started a poncho pattern like that, but then I abandoned it because I didn't really like the way it was turning out. But I think I sort of want to resurrect it and expand it.
Mm.
I think it was just the dimensions that didn't turn out right, so I just need to revise it. But then I'll have to get a whole bunch of new yarn. Darn it, I need more yarn.
I know. Every time the yarn shows up, I always have to hide the box before my husband gets home, because it's like, did you buy more yarn? Yes, I did.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, we're running out of room.
That's where the whips and chains come in, right?
Oh, yeah. I literally can't close the drawers of that piece of furniture because there's so much yarn stuffed into them. But and then you inevitably start working on something and, oh wow, I need 10 more skeins of white. Eek. So that's where I am right now. I decided to do this Tina pattern, and I'm like, wow, I'm gonna need like at least 10 more skeins of white. Where am I gonna put that? I don't know. Whoops.
Yeah, my friend gave me he was destashing and decluttering, and he knew that I loved the Lion Brand mandala, so he gave me a bag full of Lion Brand mandala.
Nice of him.
One cake of about 20 something different colors, one cake each. And I'm going, what can I do with one cake? Because I do big things.
I always think like a scrap gan or a log cabin Afghan, or just granny squares.
Yeah, exactly.
Just regular old fashioned.
Actually, yeah, I've been doing dog sweaters recently. When I'm between big projects, I want to do something small that I can do quickly as like a palette cleanser. So I've done a lot of hats for that reason, and so recently I've been doing dog sweaters to donate to pet rescue organizations.
That's a beautiful thing.
So actually some of that Lion Brand mandala would be great for that.
I look forward to seeing what you produce.
Well, actually, I've posted some dog sweater pictures on Instagram.
Have you?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go back and take a look.
Yeah.
But I love that. I love doing stuff and donating it to somebody who need, somebody in need. That's always a good feeling.
And for the budget yarn, it's a really great use, either for
Mhm.
hats for donations
Yep.
or dog sweaters, especially because the budget yarns, the acrylic yarns, are washable.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Yeah, there's a gentleman in one of the groups I belong to that makes hats for homeless people, and I think that's just amazing. That's really
Hmm.
fantastic. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure you've heard of Hat Not Hate. Um,
No.
it's a campaign that Lion Brand does. Well, it
Okay.
started with Lion Brand, but I think it's gone independent now. But it's part of an anti-bullying campaign. They do
Okay.
presentations at schools, at every level of school. The presentation is like adapted for whatever age group they're addressing, and they give away blue hats.
Wow.
And so they take in blue hat donations by the thousands.
Really? I'll
Yeah,
have to check that out. I'll have to go online and check that out. I haven't heard of it.
it's hatnothate.org.
Okay, gotcha.
Actually, well, actually, when this posts, or if you look at any of my other other videos, in the description of most of my videos, I have a list of a whole bunch of um, URLs for crafting for charity.
Nice. Yeah, I was researching one for it was an Alzheimer's charity, and they actually will provide you the patterns. They like you can only make one of their patterns, and they gave you like 20 possibilities for crocheting and knitting, and
Hmm.
you make them and then just ship it to them, and it's for the patients at this uh, Alzheimer's care facility, and I thought that was really a nice thing.
That sounds cool. Send me the link and I'll add it to my list.
Okay, it's somewhere in I want to say Northern California that I don't know where I stumbled upon this, but you have to use their pattern and but they give them to the patients and they said that they really appreciate them and it always makes them smile. So that's the kind of thing that I'd like to do something like that.
Yeah, I
Because
like
you can
doing.
only, I mean, how many Afghans do you really need? I mean, right? I mean, you make them. Some of them I keep, but like it gets to the point where like, okay, I need to give these to somebody, and why not to a charity?
Do you know, I was once in a church group that was like doing knitting and crocheting blankets and things for like cancer wards.
Hmm.
And there were some that the leadership of the group decided were not good enough. I said, well, give them to me. I'll take them. I took them to a homeless shelter. And,
Sure.
you know, if it's a matter of keeping warm, you're not, especially, I was in
Right.
Yonkers, New York at the time. If
Oh,
it's a
wow.
matter of keeping warm, you're not going to be
Absolutely.
that picky.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you live in a warm climate, you kind of don't think about it as much, but like living in California, you don't think about the cold as much, but
Exactly.
people
Yeah.
need that stuff to survive. So yeah. Um,
Yeah. I'm in coastal North Carolina. It doesn't get all that cold here either.
mhm.
I miss wearing scarves. I still wear sweaters. I don't care what people say. I'm gonna wear my sweaters.
Yeah, we wear them here. It's chilly right now, but yeah, but you tend to, that whole thing with the homeless people and living out in the streets in New York or whatever, it kind of it doesn't it's not as impactful when you live somewhere warm because you just kind of forget about the fact that it's 5 degrees in New York right now and people are out on the street and they need something to keep them warm.
And
So,
if I understand correctly, in Southern California, especially in desert areas, the variation between day and night is much, much wider than, say, the variation from one day to the next. Is that correct? It can
um,
get cold at night.
yeah, it'll dip down into the 30s, upper 30s and 40s, and then the days are always. It's kind of like Florida. The days are always mild, 60s, 50s, 60s at the worst. And so yeah, it might be really chilly in the morning, but it always ends up beautiful. It's just like, it's exactly like Florida. It could be crisp in the morning and then beautiful in the afternoon. So same way here.
And here as well. Although
Yeah.
we do have cold seasons, not lately, but we have had cold seasons before, and we have rainy seasons too.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't yet figured out how to crochet a raincoat. Maybe I will.
You might have to spray it with water repellent. That wouldn't be good. Don't light a match.
That I
Yeah.
have a feeling that homeless people have access to matches.
Oh, true.
But anyway, yeah. Okay, so let's see. Let's talk about your social media presence.
Where do I start? I don't know.
Well, you and I first met on Facebook, and then I found you on Instagram, and then I learned about your website.
Yeah, I did the website more for just a lark, just because of COVID. I was stuck indoors. It was 120 degrees here, and I said, it could be fun to do a website and just to showcase, some of the fiber stuff that I do. So I just threw it together, and then a friend of mine here does. He's one of the principals at a marketing company, and I mentioned to him that, hey, I need to get a logo and all that. He goes, oh, we can do the logo for you. So I kind of drew a rough idea of what I was looking for, sent it to him, and then they did it for me. So they did it, and I put the website together. It was more for just a way to keep me from going crazy, being shut inside for weeks on end, between COVID and the 120-degree heat here. And I needed something to do, and I really enjoyed doing it. It was a lot of fun. I did it with Wix, which is kind of point and click, and it was very simple to use. And so I threw the website together, and so now it's more just I'm just in maintenance mode with it. And I occasionally will post my stuff on Instagram. And I have had a few people express interest in, possible commission. But like I said, a lot of people tend to flake out once you really start probing them, like with what colors do you want, what this, what that. And then all of a sudden they're kind of like, it's too much. And then they just kind of go away. So, yeah, so it's more shirtless selfies and not a lot of fiber arts on Instagram. But, I try to mix it up.
I don't mind those.
Yeah, I try to mix it up, so it gets bored. You don't want to do the same thing constantly. So I try to do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And the thing with doing a big project is it could take you 4 or 5 months to finish a big project. And people are like, if you don't post something, they think you've gone away or whatever, lost interest, and you're not. You're just doing your thing. And so but I try to keep it interesting, and it's difficult to keep people's attention. There's a lot of people that literally every day they just post the same picture or a variation of the same picture, and I'm kind of like, that's, after a while, it's kind of like, okay, I've seen this 800 times. Like, you need to mix it up. So I try not to bore people. I try to, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and keep it interesting. So that's my motto for social media. You get burned out, because I think people get burned out on seeing the same stuff over and over and over. So what's one of the fun things when people like us that do fiber arts is, we do so many different things that it's always something fun. I I love amigurumi, and I love seeing that stuff. And I think I think I follow every single crochet artist on Instagram. I literally like every 5 seconds there's somebody else, and some of the stuff is so amazing, and I love looking at it. And honestly, the knitting ones fascinate me because you see these, especially the people in Turkey. There are so many talented people in that country, and they're doing these amazing, incredible stuff. And I can't, of course, I can't read Turkish, so I'm kind of like I have no idea what this is about. But I'm watching them do the work, and I'm like, wow, I want to post stuff like that. But yeah, not there. But I admire their talent. There's so many talented people out there. So it's good. It's good because it's inspirational. You see somebody doing beautiful things, and you're kind of like, wow, it keeps you going. So it does for me. That's how it works for me anyway.
Have you gotten into doing videos, going on YouTube?
No, I don't like the way I look and sound on video. So I have this, as you could probably hear, I have a very Philadelphia accent, and it just bugs the hell out of me. So I don't like the way I sound, and so I shy away from that. And I had to do videos when I worked. I had to do tutorials for software, and it was like a little death every time I had to make one of those videos. It was like dying and all over again. I wouldn't even play it. I wouldn't even play it when I finished editing it because I was like, I don't want to hear myself. I don't, I just make this go away. Go here. Go watch it.
No, yeah, if you've got those painful associations, I can certainly understand.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't, and you know what? There's so many people that do it better. That there's so many talented people that have great channels, and I'm kind of like, what am I? I don't know what I'm going to bring to the table that hasn't already been done, and so I'm kind of like, I'm more of a, I'll sit in the background, I'll watch and just do my thing, but I don't see myself having a video presence. I'm just not. I'm not super comfortable with it.
Oh.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm shy by nature. I'm a very shy person and reserved. And and when I'm like, if I'm on a live camera, I get giggly and like I become an idiot. Like when I'm on camera, generally, like I don't hold up well. So yeah, I don't think it's not my media.
I'm very pleased that you seem comfortable today.
Well, it's you.
Oh, now you're flattering me.
You're you after all.
I'm me.
You are you after all, so it makes it easy. Yeah.
That's and it is exactly what you were saying, that there are so many people who have found what they do and what interests people. And I think that these conversations are one of the things that I do, that I love doing the most, that I think interest people.
Mm-hmm.
And I've gotten some great feedback on it. And I love it when I get people like you who have a personality and a lot of talent and are easy on the eyes. So,
well, thank you. That's very
what could be better?
That's very kind of you.
So, but yeah, I do understand the reservations you were talking about as well.
Yeah. I'd rather sit and watch somebody's videos and and just enjoy them, and I just don't see myself ever. I thought about it, but I just, at least right now, I don't see myself breaking into that. I feel like I'm too awkward and too self-conscious to make a good video, and plus I have all that trauma from having to make all those software videos just endlessly for years. It just I'm kind of like done with all the editing, the endless editing, and yeah, I did that for a long time, and it was always like, eek.
I always wish I will say that my editing skills are growing, but I wouldn't call myself an expert at all. But
I got very good at it. I got very good at editing, and I got very good with the software. But just hearing my own voice and having to play back and hear what and I'm kind of like, oh, I sound like Rocky or somebody. Like this is terrible, terrible. Like oh no,
well,
wrong.
I'm picking up that you have a lot of technical expertise that I would love to talk with you about offline.
Well, I was in IT for a long, long, long time, so I had to learn. I had to do a lot of that stuff, and but I wouldn't consider myself like an expert. Like I do the point. Like I said, I use Wix for the website, point and click, no HTML, no JavaScript. It was just all doing all that. I did that years and back in the 90s when websites first became the thing. I had to learn all that like everybody else, and I threw a page together. But yeah, I don't. So yeah, I was one of the people that I wrote up. I told the programmers what to do, and then I sat back and waited for them to do it, and then I would complain about it and then fight with them, and then go back and forth. So I didn't do the hard stuff. I just kind of.
I was a business analyst too.
Right. Thank you. Right. So
So and I carry that into the pattern writing that I do.
Okay.
Because it hurts me deeply whenever I learn that I have stated something in a way that is unclear.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So it stings in the moment, but it's very useful to learn, and I will fix it and try to make it better.
Yep. So you understand.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, we are coming to the end of the year. What kind of goals do you have? I avoid the word resolution, but what kind of goals do you have in terms of crafts or any other kind of goals?
I want to finish this. I want to finish this big old, mosaic Afghan that I started, and I'm not sure yet what I'm going to do. I'm not sure if I'm going to give it to someone or keep it. We'll see. I'm not sure what's going to happen there. So do this. Continue working on these little pouches, because these are just a fun in between. Just a fun in between thing to work on when you're just sitting watching TV, and give people like these as gifts. So I've been giving these out to people. So just doing little stuff like that. And I want to try to burn through some of my stash and whittle that down. And so that's one of the things that I want to do. And and then the other big thing is lose some of the COVID weight, like everybody else, because that's everybody else's in the whole free world is. It's been a rough couple years, and lose some of the COVID weight, exercise more, get healthier, and we'll see what happens. I had 2 surgeries this year, so it was a rough year for me physically. So I've been laying around for 6 months, not doing much. So, not good for your health. So get healthier, and hope to see the end of COVID next year. So we'll see.
I think we'd all like to see that.
Yeah, maybe start traveling again. I'd love to be able to travel again, visit my family, just visit friends, do stuff like that. So that's basically the same thing that everybody else is wishing for. So, yeah. But I'm grateful that I have knitting and crochet to keep me occupied and keep me sane. Like I can keep myself occupied during the day doing that, and not everybody has that ability. So it's a really good thing.
And wouldn't you agree that the yarn community is a really, really wonderful community?
It is. They're supportive. People are so supportive of each other, and so creative and so really inspiring. There's so many inspiring people that do amazing things that I love it. And I just love how the guys support each other, especially men and women. But we all, we all help each other when we need help. I love how somebody asks a question, people are willing to jump in and help whoever it is out. And so yeah, it's a great community. It's a great community, very supportive and fun. So yeah, I'm glad we have it, and I'm just glad that I have something to keep me occupied during these rough times where we not maybe can't socialize much out, or whatever, or if you're living somewhere where it's 120 degrees during the day and you can't go out, you have something to keep you occupied and sane. So yay for crochet. Yay crochet.
Have you found that being so isolated has affected the way you interact with people in real life when you have the opportunity? That's been my experience.
It's been difficult mentally. It's been really difficult mentally being isolated, and like everybody else, I'm tired of being fearful of social situations, and feeling guilty when I do. I feel guilty when I go out, like if I go to a restaurant and and you sit down and you take your mask off, and like you feel like you're doing something dirty and risky, and I'm tired of feeling that way, and I just pray that we see the end of this in 2022, so that we can, have get-togethers, have fiber retreats and stuff like that, and in person, and be able to see our friends and families again and not worry. I have a couple relatives with COVID right now, so it's very scary times. So yeah.
I lost some uncles during this time. I don't think it was COVID related, but they were pretty old, because I'm pretty old.
Yeah.
But and although my sister went at least to one uncle's funeral, we weren't able to go to the other ones, which was sad.
Yeah, it is very much so. I didn't go to my aunt's funeral because of COVID, and she was she was the matriarch of our family, and I couldn't go, and I attended. The church put on a Zoom, they did a Zoom thing where I was able to tune in and watch the service remotely, but obviously not the same thing. I couldn't be there to support my family, and that was very painful. So I've yet to, I still have to go and pay my respects, to her kids and all that. And at some point I'm going to be able to do that. So rough time we're in. So, but let's hope that 2022 is better. I think it's going to be. I really do. I think it's going to be better. I think we're going to see more of a return to normalcy after we get over this spike. So I think we're going to have a couple rough months, and I think we're going to, come out the other side. And I think it's going to be better. There's more therapeutic medicines coming out, and let's just hope that more people get vaccinated and we can come out of this.
Exactly. I see it as becoming more of a manageable disease than a catastrophic one.
Exactly.
It's gonna be one of those things that might not ever leave us, but it'll be like, how we get a flu booster every year. We might end up getting a COVID.
Yeah, that's exactly what I think is going to happen. I think that we'll end up having to get periodic boosters, and it's just going to be something we all live with. But and there will be people that will continue to die. People that are very weak, may continue to die like they do from the flu, but it'll just become like, another flu thing. So that's my hope, that once we get over this spike, that things will start to calm down and there'll be some return to normalcy. That's all we can hope for at this point.
I think I read or heard that last year they saw far fewer cases of the flu than usual because of the social isolation and the masks.
Yes. Yep.
And
and I
then
got my flu vaccine just in case. I don't
I
normally get it, but I happened to go to the doctor for something, and they're like, "Hey, have you had your flu?" And I said, "No."
I
And
try
they
to
said,
get it every year. It's never made me sick, and I have only had the flu once in my life.
"Once in your life?
Yeah.
Impressive."
And I hated it.
No, it's not pleasant.
I don't wanna go through that
Not
again.
pleasant.
But
Yeah.
I got my flu vaccine and my booster the same day, the same
Uh-huh.
arm. It's still sore, but I
Yeah.
can live with that.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, um, they were saying that we might end up wearing masks on planes from here on out, and I really hope that that's not true. Um, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm very claustrophobic. I'm claustrophobic. I don't do well with masks, and I'm becoming less tolerant of them as time goes by. I run out of the supermarket and I can't wait to take it off. And part of that's though because I have asthma. I have asthma and I have sinus problems, and so it's hard enough to breathe without it, let alone wearing it around. And I'm just like I just keep saying to myself, when is this going to end? This has got to end. I
Mhm.
am
Yeah.
not just not tolerating it very well anymore. So,
Yeah, they're difficult, but
and I did
they
crochet a mask when the pandemic first started. I was like, where am I going to get a mask? I don't know. And I went online and I
Mhm.
found a pattern for a crocheted mask. So I crocheted it, and then I took an old T-shirt and I cut a square of material out. And I sewed the T-shirt material inside the mask, and that's what I wore for about the first, I want to say, the first month of the pandemic.
Mhm.
Once things got bad, I was wearing the crocheted mask around, and until somebody finally mailed me a couple masks, and then they became ubiquitous and they were everywhere. But yeah, so I still have that mask somewhere. I don't. It's in a
Yeah.
bag somewhere. But
I actually I carry a pack of paper masks in my car, actually.
uh-huh.
Um,
Yeah.
but I find that they fog up my glasses.
Yes. Yes. I have to take my glasses off, and then I'm stumbling around. I can't really see. It's not a good situation. You
But,
know.
it's better than the alternative.
It is. Yeah, it is. So here's to a better 2022, and let's hope we come out the other side of this. That would be great.
I would love to see that. I would love
Yeah.
to see that. Well, we've been going for almost an hour now, and it has
Okay.
been just lovely the whole time. What would you like to leave our viewers with?
Um, I just want to say I appreciate all of you, and I love how talented people are in this community, and um, I support you, and keep going. And um, uh, times are going to get better. I know we're in a really rough time right now, but things are going to get better. Hang in there. And I want to wish everybody a very happy and healthy 2022, and look forward maybe to seeing you guys again in the future. And keep crafting, stay crafty,
That's
and thank you.
a lovely thing to say. I'm gonna stop recording, but stick around.
Okay.